game over. Do you want to play a game? Bye-bye. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. As always, I'm Sebastian Volkov, and this is Chilling Devotion, which I hope isn't corn with a P. Because when you get shit off Itch.io, you never know. And, I'm hoping that it's just a fucked up, at least kinda spoopy visual novel, because that's what I came to play today, and it's... I don't know. Well, anyway, before we get the show started, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all that cool shit if you enjoy the video. If you don't like the content, then don't. No harm, no foul. Bleh. Start the fucking game! Day 1. Unexpected guest. The car's engine purred softly as it glided along the snow-covered road, creating a rhythmic hum that harmonized with the tranquility of the winter landscape. The world outside seemed hushed, as still as if nature itself had been silenced by a blanket of pristine snow. Through the windshield, the scene unfolded like a postcard come to life. The snow-laden trees stood tall, their branches delicately adorned with glistening crystals. Each limb reached out toward the sky as if yearning to touch the falling snowflakes. The weight of the snow bent some branches, creating graceful arches that framed the road ahead. As the car made its way through the winter wonderland, the snowscape seemed to stretch out infinitely in every direction. The vastness of the scenery was both awe-inspiring and humbling. You continue to look around and wonder from the warmth and comfort of your vehicle. For you, this is a whole new experience coming from a busy city life. The little cub cabin retreat. There's a gay cub. It was advertised as the coziest escape in the heart of a snowy mountain wilderness. Unplug and experience tranquility and unforgettable views of snow-capped peaks and towering pine trees right outside your window. It sounded like exactly what you needed at the time, and you immediately booked a cabin just for a week. Oh, booked a cabin for one just for a week. Fuck. You look down at the directions you downloaded again. Turn onto Little Cub Trail, and it's the first cabin on the left. You slow the car as you approach a sign. Some of the letters of Little Cub peek out from under the snow. It's wrong! You turn into a trail and your car bumps along the unpaved snowy dirt path. You look around attentively for the first cabin you see through the increasing snowfall. The wind suddenly starts whipping the snow around with fervor, and the road ahead of you quickly disappears. You feel a pang in your chest at the sight, and your breath quickens. Your eyes begin darting between the trees, looking for this damn cabin. So much for the forecast of light snow today. Hopefully you get there soon, in case the snow gets worse. Finally. You've been looking forward to this getaway for a couple of weeks, and there it is. You take some time to fully take in the exterior from the safety of your car. Now the idea of a private snowy cabin makes you relaxed. I mean, that sounds like exactly where I want to live all the time. Like, I want it to never stop snowing, but I want to be able to get anywhere I need to and live in a fucking log cabin. You rented out the cabin for a week to get away from your troubles back in reality. You can just appreciate nature and do some things you haven't been able to do in a while. There's so much you can do, like reading next to the fire or going on a hike to see some of the sights they talked about on the website. God, I hope this turns dark as fuck. You don't remember the last time you just had some quiet time to yourself. It's time to relax and rest finally. You squint through the falling snow, trying to make out the numbers on the cabin. The snow is really starting to come down quickly. You feel an urgency to get indoors. Snow had covered the sign, but this one looked like the picture in the booking, so you pulled onto the snow-covered path. You feel a wave of relief to have finally arrived. The drive up the mountain was like Rainbow Road, and the snow, while beautiful, made for an even more challenging drive. Your little cabin is surrounded by trees and there are no neighbors in sight. A large stretch of wilderness ensures you have plenty of privacy. You hurriedly lug your stuff out of your car and into the cabin. It's not much, just a suitcase for the week. Looking at the snow, maybe you should have packed even thicker winter clothes. The icy environment chills the delicate skin on your face. Oh, aren't you a little soft boy? You bound up to the cabin, eager to get out of the cold. It's already unlocked. Is this normal for remote cabins? As you step inside, the warmth of being out of the elements immediately greets you, but it could certainly be warmer. Wow, magic fire! You set your things by the door and quickly set about lighting a fire in the fireplace. Conveniently, there's some wood and a lighter on the hearth. Close enough. You take in the cabin's interior, and it's as cozy as described, if not a bit more messy than expected. Did they not clean up the place? There's still stuff laid out on the table. Looks like the place hasn't been swept in a while, too. It has a lived-in feel and is ready for someone to move in. The warm glow from the hearth dancing across the rustic wooden walls and furniture was cozy and inviting. Some books are resting on the worn wooden table and shelves. You hurry over to inspect the tiny kitchenette and you're pleasantly surprised that it's fully stocked. Wow, it looks like it looks like mystery meat and a lot of junk food. Still, that's pretty generous of the people running this place. You'd expected to get food later in town when the snow let up. It's a bit of a drive, but there is a small town with a grocery store around here. You can look more closely around the rest of the cabin later. Right now, you just wanted a warm drink. You look in the kitchen's drawers and find a couple of options to choose from. All of them are instant drink variety, but beggars can't be choosers. What do you want to drink? Coffee puts me to sleep. Hot cocoa is probably what he wants, but it depends on the tea. I'd probably want fucking tea. You grab a packet of instant tea. It's instant, never mind. Then you find a pot and start to heat some water from the gas stove. It's been a while since you've used one of these. You check your phone and there's no signal. You do spot a landline on the countertop if you need to call anyone. Been a while since you've seen one of those too. Another reminder of how far from civilization you are. The pot of water simmers on the stove and you pour some into a cup of your tea. For your tea. The smell of tea fills the room and the warmth from the cup warms your frozen hands. The window rattles suddenly and you jump from your thoughts. The snowing from earlier has really picked up into a storm now, the heavy fall of snow blurring the landscape out the window. The wind howls and rattles the windows again. The sharp, erratic bursts made you flinch every time. Snow now slams against the cabin in chaotic flurries. You wonder if the windows would hold against the storm's fury. That's a bit concerning, but it's a perfect contrast to the safety of the cabin. The cabin was a small sanctuary that was holding back the icy wilderness beyond its walls. Luckily, you have food here, and made it before the weather took a turn for the worse. Snowed in or not, you were planning on bunkering down here initially anyway. Just as you started settling in near the hearth with your hot drink, there was a knocking at the door. You snap your head towards the sound and you feel your heart racing with fear. You weren't expecting anyone, and the thought of a stranger out here in the middle of nowhere during a snowstorm sent a shiver down your spine. But maybe it was the cabin host, or someone that needed help. You set down your drink on the table gently and looked toward the door. What will you do now?
Who is it?
You try to calm your nerves while you wait for an answer, and an answer doesn't come. Open the door, fuck it. You take a deep breath and make your way to the door, steeling yourself for whoever's on the other side. When you open the door, you're greeted by a tall figure wearing a mask, their expression hidden. Your breath catches in your throat at the looming sight, fear threatening to overwhelm you. A biting and cold wind rushes in from the cracked open door. The unknown visitor is bundled in thick clothes and covered in snow. The huffs of their breath still show through their mask. Can I help you?
Hola, amigo. What's up, mosquito? How the fuck is you?
Been a minute. The figure says nothing, the silence somehow chilling the air further. You reflexively take a step back and grip the door's handle, ready to slam the door shut and lock it. Noticed your voice acting in the Skin Freak.
Oh, yes. The businessman and the epilogue.
Which was kind of weird for me because
I usually do more roles than that.
but we do have more stuff coming out pretty soon. I feel like it's pretty soon at least. But yeah, I've been watching like shit tons of people play it, and I'm like, oh, what do you think of the game? People seem to be loving it, thankfully. There we go. The stranger seems to notice this and slams his hand on the door, preventing you from closing it. At the sudden movement, you
Attack!
You don't think you can win a fight against this. Oh, you don't think you can win a fight against this man, but maybe you can catch him by surprise and get the upper hand. With adrenaline coursing through your veins, you lunge at the stranger. But the man's reflexes are faster than you anticipated. He easily dodges your attack and he catches your arm to stop you. I wouldn't try that again if I were you. His hands are strong, but not painful, and they anchor you firmly in place in front of him. I'm gonna come up with a different voice for this motherfucker. His face is unreadable, neither angry nor amused, just unreadable. The storm outside howls louder as if taunting you in his situation. What will you do now? Silence. You only stare back at the stranger's eyes, peering emotionally back at you. Finally, he's the one to speak up.
I don't think you'll be leaving.
I really don't know. I can't see this fucker's face, so I have no idea what he should sound like.
I don't think you'll be leaving.
Fucking canny. A chill runs through you as you hear that low, cold, and menacing voice. Yeah, so I guess I should have probably just been my voice. Fuck it! We're running with it. There's a slight southern drawl to it. Eat a dick. Is it supposed to be me? His words hang heavy in the air, mingling with your labored breaths and the roar of the winds. Just as you're starting to feel lightheaded, the stranger adds matter-of-factly. That's a weird way to fucking do that. Especially not in this weather. There's a snowstorm. You won't survive out there alone. You won't even make it 5 minutes in the storm by the looks of you.
Huh? He suddenly lets go of you.
I don't know, I feel like the main guy now is kind of a pussy. And this guy's supposed to be me.
The action is so sudden that you stumble back into the cabin's interior and the stranger takes a step in. The stranger's masked face remains unreadable as they shut the door behind them, sealing you both inside.
Oh my god, it's Jason Mewes!
The stranger pulls down his mask to reveal his face. He begins dusting off the snow from his clothes and goes to hang up his overcoat by the door naturally. I'm Jim. This is my place. Knew you had the wrong cabin, fucker. You stare speechlessly at this casual statement as if he's not aware of the scare he just gave you.
Well, you're in his goddamn cabin, man.
What's your name? He gives a shit. You're in his place. Tell him.
My name is...
Fucker. Fucker. There's an awkward beat before he gestures for you to take a seat by the fireplace.
Yeah, you may as well sit down, bitch boy.
You stiffly follow his suggestion and sit down in a chair with a creak. He takes off his hat and dusts off the snow before following you and taking a seat as well. You're both sitting by the hearth now after your misunderstanding. You feel a mixture of adrenaline and embarrassment. This shit got really loud.
Bleh.
There we go. I'm, real sorry about before. It's okay. It's all just a misunderstanding. Yeah, but still. You reassure him that it's really okay. Okay. I swear, this is gay corn, isn't it? It looked like a horror game. I believe I've been misled. Jim lets out a heavy sigh, but still looks apologetic. You're taken aback by the contrast of the man in front of you and your first impression of him. Besides that, you're still confused about how all of this happened. Jim thinks for a moment and speaks more quietly because of self-consciousness about how his voice sounds. I feel you, brother. I feel you. I'm extraordinarily self-conscious about my voice. Like you wouldn't think that, me being a voice actor, but, you know, that was an accident. I never meant to get into that line of work. His voice still comes out as a low rumble. Were you trying to go to that tiny bear house? You mean the little club cabin? Then yes. Right. You went way too far down the trail then. Probably missed it with all the snow and pines. Easy to happen when the snow gets like this. Your face burned with embarrassment at your mistake and the whole misunderstanding. So much for a relaxing getaway. That makes sense. An awkward silence stretches between you two until Jim speaks up again. I think the storm will pass in a couple of days. You can stay here till then. A couple of days? You sit there and process what's happened. I guess I don't have a choice. Jim nods sympathetically. It's for the best. You can trust me on that. You slump in your chair a bit in defeat at your own helplessness. Jim moves to stand up and starts gesturing around the room. So, the bathroom is in the corner there. Oh, and feel free to put your things in the spare room over there on your right. My room's the one to your left by the front door. It's not much, but you're safe here. Jim points to the pot on the stove next. I'll have some hot I'll have some hot cocoa too after all that. Want your tea reheated since you've helped yourself to some already? You've grown at any reminders of your unfortunate beginnings here. Sure, let's try to be sociable. Jim gives you a curt nod and grabs your cup. Things are still plenty awkward, but it was kind of sweet that he was trying to be a good host. Wait, nobody even said I was a dude, did they? How about you check out your room while I reheat the drinks? You nod and grab your luggage to take to your room.
Wolf! Volkov!
The room is small, but just as cozy as the rest of the cabin. Simple with its furnishings, but it's all you need. It's minimally decorated like the rest of his cabin, but it has a bed, a nightstand, and a lamp. And now it has your suitcase and belongings in the corner. You sit down on the bed with a creak. The bed feels impossibly soft beneath you, urging your tense muscles from earlier to uncoil. You let out a long breath and your hand traces absent-mindedly over the quilted blanket. Its fabric is worn, but comforting. What a situation. You hear the muffled clattering of Jim in the kitchen and snow battering against the walls. This was not what you'd expected at all, and you wonder how it'll all go. Your tea is ready. Jim's voice from the other room pulls you from your thoughts, and you get up to join him. You sit across from Jim as he hands you the reheated tea. Jim cradles his own mug in his hand, savoring the warmth before taking a little sips. His posture is more relaxed, but still seems a bit shy. You get a better look at him now that things are less intense. His pale hair is damp and disheveled from the snowstorm, and he keeps it pretty long. His eyes flick to you occasionally before glancing back down at his drink. Sorry, I'm not used to having company, I guess. What do you do? Makes sense. That's alright, I'm quite the unexpected guest right now. What would you prefer? We can just enjoy the silence if you'd like. No, well, of course, I don't mind not talking. But since this is a bit of a special occasion, I'd like to try talking. If that's aight with you.
Aight?
I'm not really sure where to start, though. Jim looks at you expectantly. He's hoping that you'll start the conversation. So...
Why not? Do you live out here all the time?
He glances at you and then answers while looking into the fire. Used to be not all the time, just when I needed to get away, but now, yeah, this is where I live. His voice is steady, but there's something vulnerable in his tone, and he's not used to explaining himself. Get away from what? He seems to hesitate, maybe from trying to find the right words before settling on what to say. Everything. The noise, the people, it's just too much.
I understand that.
All too much. You nod, feeling a strange sense of understanding. I get it. That's why I wanted to come out here too. Just needed a break from it all. I wish I could be away all the time, but I have responsibilities. Jim's lips twitched into a faint smile, and for the first time since talking, his gaze holds yours for a while. And instead, you end up in the wrong cabin. Groan. You groan at the reminder. Sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in. So, that's probably enough. We can move on. You're done asking questions for now. You both finish the rest of your drinks in silence. Jim looks at you and finally asks you a question himself. So, how are you feeling about being stuck here? He quickly looks away again while anticipating your answer. He has a complicated look on his face. You wonder why that is. He's a hard man to read. You like it here so far, but look forward to leaving. Can't wait to get away from this guy. You'd like to stay here longer? No! I don't want to say anything for now. I'm a little uncomfortable. The facts are that you're going to be stuck here with Jim until the snowstorm lets up. Either from uncertainty or not wanting to disclose your thoughts right now, you elect to not answer Jim's question. I couldn't really say right now. I mean, you don't know the guy. You've been here like fucking... You've seen him for like the last 5 minutes or some shit. Fuck. A flash of frustration passes by Jim's face, but he nods in response. He seems to be letting it go for now. Jim looks back into the flickering embers of the fire and seems to be weighing a response in his head. You wonder what he's thinking, but can't bring yourself to interrupt his thoughts. You ultimately look into the fire too. The dancing flames lull you into its trance as your mind wanders. The time flows as the sun disappears from the sky and you both are left with a dying fire. At some point you find yourself watching him. His features are softer in the firelight, warmer too than before. He looks much more friendly now that he's taken off his outerwear and is relaxing in his more casual outfit. He doesn't seem to talk much, but his voice carries a quiet intensity, like every word matters. He glances at you and catches you staring. You quickly look down at your empty mug, feeling the heat rise in your face from being caught. He doesn't say anything at first, but now you feel him observing you back. What? Just getting a better look at you. This is not what I was expecting. You just stated matter-of-factly. It's what you were doing after all. Yeah, I see. He continues to look back at you for a moment longer. You're a bold one, aren't you? Just staring like that. Then Jim looks into his empty mug, now cold. Well, I think I'll call it a night. Jim gets up and holds out a hand to take my empty mug from you too. That's worded wrong. Trying to be a gracious host to you. You give him your cup, and his lips curve into a small smile. The grammar's killing me right now, it's going sideways. He walks to the kitchen and places both your mugs in the tiny sink there with a clink. Then Jim goes over to the hearth and puts out the rest of the fire before heading to his room. You get up and walk over to your room. You peer out to Jim, closing the door to your room. Jim lingers by his door and glances back at you. Okay, well, good night, fucker. Yeah, that's what I was wanting. Good night, Jim. You say good nights and go to your respective rooms. I think I'm supposed to be a girl, maybe. Girl gay, I don't think it matters. It's supposed to be a potential romance. I don't know. Your door creaks as you close it. all the way and you turn towards what will be your room for the next couple of days. You're stuck in here with this stranger. You change into your sleeping clothes and jump under the covers for warmth. The storm is still raging outside as much as it was earlier. You start to relax, and soon the storm outside starts to sound like white noise. The events of the day are taking their toll on you. Before you arrived, you were feeling relaxed. Now, after everything that's happened, you feel a bit wary. You're feeling wary about this whole situation with Jim and being snowed in with him. There's just so many unknowns that you have to deal with now. This is turning out to be a much more complicated getaway than you bargained for. As you think about how you feel, you drift off to sleep, wondering what the rest of the week has in store for you. The darkness takes you, and you dream of being deep in the mountains. The air is viscous, thick with the scent of old blood.
Darkness!
From the abyss, a pair of gold moon-like eyes glow from a towering figure. The shadow moves too fluid, too silent, just beyond your grasp. The trees scream, the ground heaves, and then a sound, low, guttural, laughing. Its voice is not sound but vibration, the hum of a wasp's nest, the groan of a noose tightening. You're such a delicate thing, a rabbit on my altar. You are the perfect sacrifice. The voice scares you. You don't understand what it is. You try to get away from this haunting visage, but the damp, cold earth under your feet clings to you. Branches claw at your arms, leaving thin red trails in their wake. The less you understand, the rougher things get. The trees loom and shadows laugh. The forest, it screams to you. The one who dreams the wolves. And then the darkness reaches for you. The voice calls out to you once more. A boom arm is killing me. I'll let the whelp have you. Just for a little while. Are you telling me this motherfucker's a werewolf? Wait a goddamn minute. You are marked now. The storm listens. The trees remember. You wake with a gasp, the remnants of the dream clinging to you like frosts. Moonlit eyes burned into yours from the shadows of the pines. Something that knew your name with a voice like cracking ice. Unconsciously, your fingers buried in the quilt, your pulse hammering like a trapped thing. Morning light seeps through the frosted windows. You wake to the sound of the gas stove clicking on and the flash of its flames. Jim is awake, moving through the cabin with the creak of floorboards under his careful steps. Sounds in this makes no sense. It goes up and down. The bedroom door squeaks as you step out. Jim keeps his back to you, fingers fumbling with the coffee tin like it's the most fascinating thing in the world. You're finally awake. You sit down at the table. Jim sets a chipped mug on the table and joins you. Steam curls from it, ghostly in the cold air. He doesn't speak. The silence stretches, taut as a tripwire. fucker. It's for you. I kind of ruined it by putting the name as fucker, didn't I? Jim pushes the mug towards you, in offering. His eyes dart around the room, a nervous habit you're beginning to recognize. Take the mug. The drink inside is tea, hot and fragrant exactly as you like it. The scent wraps around you, warm and familiar. You hadn't realized how thirsty you were until now. Neither did I. And Jim watches you intently. Fuck it, drink. You take a sip from the mug, and it's good. Really good. You drink a big gulp before you even realize it. Jim's shoulders unclench, just a fraction. I'm glad you like it. Jim's posture softens. He watches you with something like gratitude, his fingers tapping an absent rhythm against the table. The steam from your mug curls between you like a disorienting fog. Jim watches, not the drink, not your hands, but the space where your lips will meet the rim. The silence stretches, charged with something unspoken. The warmth of your drink spreads through your chest, familiar and comforting. Is it good? How's the temperature? Perfect. With pride barely hidden, a flicker of satisfaction crosses his face. He leans back in the chair, fingers drumming once against the table. I remembered how you take it. Before you know it, you've drank it all. Jim holds out his hand to take your mug, and you oblige. Then he busies himself with taking your mugs to the sink, but you catch the way his thumb rubs over the spot your lips just touched. You must be hungry. I'll make you some food to go with your drink. He crouches down and pulls out a cooler from under the sink. You think you hear the click of a lock, but you can't see past Jim's form. He places some ingredients on the counter. Flour, potatoes, onion, eggs, and toast. It's not too fancy, but it'll do. Jim moves with a quiet efficiency at the stove as he layers ingredients into a cast iron pan. This guy reminds me, like, insanely too much of myself. And going to help me when I'm cooking just aggravates the shit out of me. Like, I want you out of my fucking way. Just let me do it. Let me handle the situation. But I'm sure it wants you to go help. You step beside him, reaching for a knife to chop vegetables. Jim's hand catches yours, not to stop you, just to guide your grip. Knife sharper than it looks. Here. He adjusts your fingers, his palm warm against yours. Smaller cuts. They'll look even, or they'll cook even. You work in comfortable silence, shoulders brushing occasionally. When the meal is ready, he plates it carefully, nudging the best portions toward your side. His boot knocks lightly against yours under the table, a tiny grounding touch. We make a good team. I don't even know what that means. What the fuck is a tiny grounding touch? The food is simple but perfect. Fluffy eggs, crispy potatoes, pancakes, toast slathered in some kind of jam. Jim left the jar of preserves open on the table for you, wafting a sweet scent to you in case you wanted more. Your stomach grumbles loudly at the sight and smell. Good. You have an appetite. Go on and dig in. He doesn't eat until you do. His gaze never leaves your face. Jim watches you take the first bite, his fingers drumming the table until you nod approval. The pancakes are just sweet enough. The preserves taste like blackberries and something darker. Iron? No, just your imagination. The food is delicious but leaves you oddly drowsy. He smiles watching you eat and noting how you feel from the look on your face. Good food will make you sleepy, huh? His voice is light, but his fingers quickly tap the table twice like he's counting. Halfway through, he pushes his mug toward you. Try this. Before you realize it, you take a sip of his spiced tea, and it's just sweet enough. Spiced tea, yes. When you hand it back, his thumb touches the place your lips touched. Both of you finish up quickly, and Jim takes your plates to the sink. As he's washing up, Jim hums. The tune is unfamiliar, oddly rhythmic. You've never heard it before. Almost like a lullaby or a chant. When Jim notices your attention, he stops abruptly and turns away. It's just a song from my childhood. Jim pauses at the sink, looking out the window. The storm still rages, but he has a serene look on his face. Could get used to this. The fireplace crackles as Jim moves to kneel by the hearth, rearranging logs with unnecessary focus. You mean unnecessary focus? His sleeves are rolled up slightly as he works, pale scars peek beneath the fabric. When he notices you watching, he smiles, but his fingers twitch like he's counting something under his breath. Not much to do indoors, I'm afraid. Never really had guests before. Just me and the quiet. The firelight catches the edges of the wolf carvings on the mantel. I've got books and a puzzle if you'd like. Could make do.
Just go to my room, I want the spooky shit.
You mention heading to your room and Jim stills, thinking. His fingers tap once, sharp against his arm, then he smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Tired already? He doesn't move to stop you, but as you turn, you catch his reflection in the darkened window. Guess the cold gets to folks faster than I remember. Used to it myself. Ditto. His expression is raw, jaw clenched like a man watching something precious slip through his fingers. I'll come get you when it's dinner time. Get some rest for now. You head back to your room for now, the door clicking closed behind you. The sound is soft, final. You sit on the edge of the bed, the weight of the day pressing into your shoulders like hands. You stare out the forest. You stare out the frost-stained, veined glass. Goddamn. The storm still rages, snow piling and drifts against the pane. Your breath fogs the cold surface. Your breath evens out, fogging the glass in rhythmic pulses. Without realizing it, you trace the same looping pattern Jim uses to stir his coffee into the glass. You were feeling more accepting of your situation. Or maybe resigned is a better word. The snow no longer looks threatening, just inevitable, like the turn of seasons. Try to nap. You close your eyes and try to rest, tossing fitfully. Something unsettled you as you tried to sleep. If at all. It was hard to tell the time with the snowstorm roaring. The shadows stretch across your room, and you begin to wonder if it's evening time yet. Jim hasn't come to get you, but the hunger in your stomach pulls you out of bed. When you get up, you notice the door is slightly ajar. You could have sworn that you'd closed it. The storm has trapped you both inside for another day. The wind howls through the cracks in the cabin walls, but Jim seems almost content. He sits at the table, a small knife in hand, whittling away on a block of oak. His movements are careful and precise, like a man performing a sacred rite. He doesn't look at you, but catch the way his fingers linger over the wood, shaping it with something like reverence. Oh? Jim jolts into your presence and nearly nicks himself. Knew I should have gone with the gentle thing. Fucker. I didn't realize you were there. What's a bunny carving? That's exactly what I would do. A small, fragile thing, ears folded back, body coiled as if it was ready to flee. Not really. I have a lot of rabbits as pets. that's not their flee position. When the carving is finished, Jim hesitates. His thumb brushes over the creature's back, passing over its form. He sets it on the table, facing away from you, to look at the finished carving, a silent offering, unacknowledged. It's not for you. Not yet. Maybe never.
It's a bunny carving!
Jim looks surprised but doesn't stop you.
Is it not just like a fucking little thing? Why are you wearing it?
You trace the carving with your fingertips, but you don't want to wear it. Jim watches as you turn the wooden carving over in your hands, his usual guarded expression softening at the edges. Looks better in your hands. Then Jim clears his throat, suddenly awkward, and turns back to the fire. But you catch the faintest curve of his mouth before he hides it. I'm glad you're keeping it. Before he turns in for the night, he hesitates, glancing back at you. Well,
What happened to the food? I thought they were having dinner.
He stands to leave without another word. With nothing else to do, you also head back to your room. The bed creaks as you settle in. The blanket's too stiff, the air too still. You try to sleep, but it comes in shallow waves. Each time you start to drift to sleep, the shadows at the edges of the room seem to shift just slightly. A thud, a muffled curse, the creak of floorboards bearing weight. The cabin is too quiet for the sound to be anything but deliberate. You sit up. A sliver of light bleeds under your door. Someone's still awake. You're drawn to the noise and venture out of your room. Night falls heavy over the cabin, the fire reduced to embers. The wind is quieted, but the silence is worse, thick with unsaid words. Jim stands by the window, his back to you, fingers absently tracing the edge of the wood carving knife. You can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his breath fogs the glass in uneven bursts. He knows you're watching. He always knows. A shudder runs through him when you call out to him. For a long moment he doesn't move. Then slowly, he sets the carving knife away and turns to face you. When Jim turns to face you, the moonlight paints his face in blue and shadow, his eyes dark and unreadable. There's something raw in his expression, something hungry and hesitant all at once. Couldn't sleep. But you should be asleep. His voice is rough, raw. Fair enough. Jim exhales, and you aren't sure if it's disappointment or relief. To your confusion, Jim puts on his jacket and hat by the door. Then he wordlessly goes out of the cabin. The door clicks shut behind him, and there's a beat of silence. Then the unmistakable click of a lock engaging. Look out the window. Through the window, you see Jim's retreating figure, his shoulders hunched against the wind and snow. It looks like he's holding something. He doesn't look back. I mean, we know he's fucking out there. You know, you hear a distant axe hitting wood outside over and over and over. And Jim seems to have no intention of returning tonight. With nothing else to do, you head back to your room. Well, you lay back down in your bed, filled with thoughts of Jim, but your eyes grow heavy with sleep. The storm murmurs against the windows, a lullaby of wind and creaking wood. You drift into sleep, and the dream comes like a whisper. You stand in a cathedral of snow-laden trees, their branches clawing at a sky as deep as oblivion. The air smells of frost and something older, moss, blood, burnt sugar. In the cracks between the trees, you think you see a large wooden carving watching you, waiting. Before you is bare earth. The ground twitches where your shadow falls. You feel something between your teeth, and when you pick it out, a white flower, moist from your insides. Silver veins throb mockingly at you. You don't recall their name, yet your tongue forms the shape of it anyway. Moon petals. Is that what they're called? How do you know? There are wolf tracks, deep, deliberate. They lead you forward without a choice, the trees seemingly curving into you, pulling you in. Something moves in the dark, not a wolf, not a man, a shape with too many joints, its shadow stretching farther from the light should allow. And those eyes, they glow impossibly bright, drinking up the shadows. I'm talking too much and it's kind of... A voice hums. Jim's voice? No. Deeper. It curls through the trees in fragments. What do you have, rabbit? Your palm grows heavy. You unclench your fist to reveal. It's a moon petal, pressed and dried. It pulses in your hand with a secret life. Its mouth doesn't move, the words echoing off the trees. How curious. You hunger for him, even as you tremble in his hands. I've seen how you lean into his shadow. Stay a little longer. I've been starved for you for so long. I don't know who was saying that. Oh, thanks for playing day 2. Let me know what you think on the HEO page. Wow. You know what? That's totally fine. I was planning on quitting after that day anyway. I was gonna say, you know, if you want me to play more, let me know in the fucking comments, but apparently that's all they've got for now. But, yeah. Gonna try to get into some more, spoopy visual novels. This one's kind of spoopy romance, and I was not expecting that. Which is fine. I just wish I'd been more prepared for it, or I wouldn't have been so asinine with some of the
things I did and said and would have taken it from a different standpoint. But that's fine. That's totally fine. But, yeah. We'll get into some more horror tomorrow night. So, thanks for watching wherever you're watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all that cool shit if you enjoyed, this whole thing. And if you're still here, I'm assuming you did. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. It's time to die. Bye-bye. Game over. I want to play a game. Game over.